What's up, guys? Today I'm going to walk you through my builds. I want to put it in one video to keep it organized for anyone who just wants to go and check out the stats or some of the equipment I use. I'm going to start it off with my rune level 150 Paladin build. I use this most of the time. I always have some pretty good armor on. It can work with or without the Great Jar's Arsenal, but I have it on because I want to use America's Hammer on the side. Of course, I'm using both Golden Halberds. Claw Talisman. I want to talk about the Claw Talisman real quick. So, I have seen people talk about like jump attacks and like how to like tweak them or dual wielding in general. And I can't see how you can nerf dual wielding and not have it affect like every dual wield build. However, I do think the Claw Talisman can use a bit of a nerf for dual wielding jump attacks. The way I do it is I'd likely just... the left hand would be nerfed. You know what I mean? Like, nerf one side of the dual wield jump attack. But I'm getting distracted. Anyway, so this build definitely benefits from having a lot of endurance. If I could, I would put even more stats on endurance, but right now this is fine. I'm using the green turtle talisman, and even sometimes I use the physic as well for this. Of course, the Earth Tree's favor, because more health and more stamina, more equip load is really good for this build. This build's very simple. You don't really need anything too crazy. It's kind of just like, hey, you have high health, you have high endurance, well, hit them with the Golden Halberd. You're good. The next build is my Blood Mage. This build can be a bit more complicated. The armor... so this person doesn't have a lot of endurance, right? So, the armor can be something lighter if you want. Right now, I have Earth Trees on, so I can get some pretty cool fashion. Oh, sorry, guy, my Blood Boon aggroed you. Of course, I have some incantation buffs. Warrior Jar Shard because of Rivers of Blood and Sword Dance. This build can also use Pole Blade or... the dagger, Reduvia's dagger, which is really good. Of course, Green Turtle Talisman. Okay, so I will, since it came up again, I'll talk about Green Turtle Talisman for a bit. For an invader, your ability to react is one of the most important things. So Green Turtle Talisman just gives you that reaction time a bit quicker. Because if they are throwing 3 different spells at you, you need to dodge all of them. The Turtle Talisman gives you a better chance of dodging, especially after using all of your endurance. If you use all your stamina comes back quicker with this. You can dodge more. You know what I mean? Easy. Let's talk about the stats for a bit. So 60 Arcane, that's why I'm using Occult. Just to keep the physical damage up, and so it can hit hard, but also build up bleed, which is amazing. I think this is the best way to use bleed builds, so you're not completely out of physical damage. You know what I mean? So, using Occult, you can still hit that physical damage cap, or physical damage. At least you'll have effective physical damage. Sorry, right now I'm filming this at 6:51 a.m. The mind is pretty low. Endurance is at 20, so I can have some defenses. I think I had this build with low endurance once, and it would just get eaten up. However, this build, I would say, has my highest skill ceiling because of Blood Boon. If you don't effectively use Blood Boon, as in throwing it in people's faces, you'll see in my other videos of Blood Boon just being the most effective way to get some spacing. And this build doesn't have the best ways of defense. If you use Swarm of Flies, it's good. Bloodflame Talons is okay. But all of this combined is really good. The more you're casting spells on this build, the more effective it is. Blood Boon and Blood Buildup is very important. And since you also have physical damage, you have a good melee attack. It has a really good combination. But if you're not using a bunch of spells, your melee attacks aren't going to do enough because this isn't really a melee build. It just has a melee attack that it can use. And it definitely does better when you cast more spells and then just follow up with melee. I love this build. It's fun. So here is the Mage. Of course, you'll see Yeertski's Favor and Green Turtle Talisman. So, to be honest, this build doesn't need Yeertski's Favor. I think I only have it on because of I wanted to switch up to have a soft swap. I always like having a soft swap to something that can roll catch if I'm using a sword. Because there's a lot of times where there's a big fight. Like, let's say there's like 2 or 3 people I'm fighting. And if I get one of them down to like 1 hit, I want to make sure I can hit them as they're rolling away. It's kind of harder to do with great swords because of the range. Anyway, this build is fun. It uses Comet a lot. I guess if I wanted a more appropriate looking build for this, I likely have the FP talisman, but I don't have the FP talisman right now. It's the one I usually just go get is the one up here. But for right now, I'll just walk you through what I have. 68 intelligence because I have the Stargazer heirloom on. I have 58 vigor, which is likely why I'm also using the Yeertski's Favor. It's a mage. You have long-range capabilities. You know, you don't absolutely need 60 vigor, but it is nice to have some health as a mage. My mind 39 because Comet. It's so fun. Oh man. All right. Sorry. The armor is pretty basic. I don't know why I have Radahn's Greaves on. This is kind of ugly. It's not too bad, I guess. If we were going to for fashion, this is what I normally like to do. Yeah, I love the way this build looks. It's very simple. It's a mage, you know what I mean? Oh, ooh, I can talk about Ice Spear for a bit. It's extremely strong. I like Ice Spear more than Frozen Mist just because I never cease to find somebody who doesn't see it coming. Oh, especially with the combo up front. If somebody's in your face and you pull that off, it does stun them. And that's pretty good. Frozen Mist is good too. I understand that it builds up quick and stuff, but I just like to have the option of a really, really mean projectile that hits hard. And it's nice to frost them on a mage build because then you do more magic damage. Yeah, I think you do more damage in general if they're frozen, but it's still a nice little combination. Yeah, I think that's it for the mage. One more look at it. Okay, so here is my Faith Dex build at rune level 200. This is the build that I love how every build I have always has. So this Faith Dex build is the build that I use Black Flame on. It can use pretty much anything that's like holy related. It has a huge arsenal of weapons. See, I can even pull out the Sacred Relic Sword if I want on this thing, but I never find it necessary. I used to be able to use Godslayers, but I think what I ended up doing was taking the strength away and putting it either on Endurance or Faith. Yeah, this sword really isn't that great, to be honest. It's fun to use, though. Here are the katanas I use for it. Because the reason why I'm showing you the weapons on this build is because this build has likely the most versatile weapon set. With my Paladin, it really just uses like holy stuff. Urdav's greatsword, however you pronounce it, can work on it. But I'm not going to talk about my Paladin build. I'm going to finish this. Like I said, it's early. Sorry. Hand of Melina is still really good. Hand of Melina is so fun. I'm trying to make a dex build where I can use this like at a low level, but it's kind of hard. But I'll figure it out. Of course, the Nagakiba is really good. Uchikatana is really good. I could get the Nagi. I just don't think I have any upgrade materials for it. It can use Vikes, but it really doesn't need it. Also, I don't even use any halberds on this build because I have all the katanas. Now, here are the scythes. I have Wing Scythe, Halo Scythe, Sacred Scythe. The Grave Scythe I use most often because I can switch it, obviously, to, like, Sword Dance. That stuff's normally fun. There's no real need for anything to be bleed here. This build is rune level 200. You know what I mean? So it's unnecessary for bleed damage. I feel like bleed damage kind of, it doesn't really age well with rune level, but who knows? I'm sure it's good at higher rune levels, but for PvP, if you're invading at rune level 200, I think you just want that damage. You just want to have one good strategy instead of like a bunch of mix-ups. Even though mix-ups are fun. Well, you can make anything work in this game, which is why it's so good. So, the rune level Faith Dex build, you know what, I'm actually going to go through spells a bit, because I didn't go through spells with the Mage, because it's obvious they're going to use magic spells. Use the ones you want. So I have Aspects, Crucible Tail, just for fun. It's just a really cool spell. I think you have to hold it in, right? Yeah. Oh, it looks so cool. Erdtree Heal. This is the only build I have that uses Erdtree Heal because it's really, really strong. I don't need it at rune level 150. My Paladin build doesn't need it because he just wrecks face. This build also wrecks face, but not as hard as my Paladin, and Erdtree Heal just helps clean up some mistakes. Golden Bow. It's Golden Bow. It's really good. Black Flame Blade. You guys saw me use this. Come on. And then Black Flame Ritual. It looks really cool. I love this build. This build is likely my favorite to use. Is it the strongest? Certain setups are stronger than others. The Scythe setup is hard to catch people running away. But you can still, you know, that running L1 is still pretty good. Sword, oh crap. That also can catch people. Oh, and come on, just the way it looks. It's so cool. Anyway, I'll call this my, like, Holy Reaper build. It's Dex Faith, rune level 200. My fashion's so ugly on this. What am I doing here? Alright. So, this is my Light Mage, where all it does is spam triple Rings of Light. Look at that MP. Or is it FP? It's FP. Look at that FP. I just call it blue. But yeah, so... Sorry, it's fun. Triple Rings of Light is really good. I use Lucerne on this because I have no options for weapons. I had the Glintstone sword for a bit, which was kind of fun. It's pretty bad. Yeah, as you can see, I can't use anything. So that's why I have Ice Spear on it. Ice Spear to help it defend itself at point blank. I love Ice Spear, man. It's so strong. I already talked about it, though. So, yeah, this fashion's extremely ugly, but we're just gonna have to deal with it right now. This build is a goof-off build, man. I'm just gonna show you guys, because I did use it in a video, so I might as well show you. And maybe I'll give you an idea. But at 150, with 52 intelligence and 33 faith, I don't really have a lot of options for weapons. I have a lot of mind. Like, this build can be very effective. It's just not for the right reasons. It's because, hey, triple Rings of Light is annoying. What if I cast it a bunch? That's how much MP I have, by the way. FP. I can't even fill it. But yeah, this... Oh, I also have Wrath of Gold, of course. Which is super cool. I don't have any other build that can use Wrath of Gold, like triple Rings of Light combos. But I really wanted one, and they're super cool. And Magic Fortification, I can't gush over. Like, Magic Fortification should be on any build with a little bit of faith. For invasions especially. But yeah, this is the Light Mage. I don't use it too often. I'll likely bring it out for something soon. I just don't know what yet. Alright, so here is the dropout. My rune level 65 Mage build that has no vigor and only invades just to spam Comet. Of course, I have Stargazer, American Scar Seal, Graven School, Green Turtle, likely on every build I have, just so I can dodge a little bit better. Using the Cold Lucerne, again, Lucerne, very low physical stats, so pretty much the go-to weapon for people who don't want to put stats in either Strength or Dex. And of course it has Ice Spear on it, because it's a little, you know what, honestly, Ice Spear is a little bit cheaper than Comet. Right, just a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit cheaper, so it provides an extra defensive utility if I need it. But yeah, this build gets like one-shotted and two-shotted quite often. It's kind of fun. Yeah, not that much to it. I wouldn't call this build a twink at all. Like, I don't have enough intelligence for the actual good stats. Even though this one's not bad. This build regularly is fun to... It's fun to play, right? But this build, like... It can get punished pretty hard. Rune level 65 is weird, though. I'm going to talk about rune level 65 a bit more on my other build. But rune level 65... I feel like you have a little bit of a chance against over-leveled Phantoms if you have, like, a super crazy build. But, yeah, over-leveled Phantoms are kind of hard to adjust with when it comes to the lower rune levels. But I want to make sure I have a lower rune level invasion build just in case I want that range, that matchmaking. But yeah, otherwise, this build is pretty simple. It's just Comet. And you're pretty much afraid of everything. It's fun. So what's up? Here is the Paladin build at rune level 65. Well, at least this is how I use it at rune level 65. It is, of course, strength, faith-based. I have a bit of a dex requirement now because of the Nagi. Vigor is extremely high. Wait, hold on. Do I have... Okay, no. Vigor is really high for this level, which I like. I think if you have high vigor, whatever you can work out within that, it's just that much more effective because now you can actually take a lot of damage. This build can use a lot of weapons. I had cleavers on it for a bit, but I forgot what I ended up doing with those. Zweihanders. I should likely pull that out one day. I think I've used it like once or twice. I have Warhawk Talons because they're dope. And my broadsword, of course. So it can use straight swords if it wants. Here's the Ordavas. I have this, of course, with this build. It's fun. It's a really good weapon. People see that coming now, though. I feel like once it got buffed, everyone started using it. Now everyone knows how to dodge it. But it's cool. This build, even though it's lower level, has a lot of stuff to do. Claymore, yes. So it has great swords. It can use great swords. It can use short swords. It can use curved great swords if it wants. I don't have any katanas on this build because I have enough katanas on my other builds. I have one twin blade, but this isn't really my twin blade build either. This would be the build if I pulled out any axes. This would be the build that would do it. But I haven't done that at all yet. One day. There's a flail, which is cool. There's the Nagi. I already showed off the Nagi. It can use Golden Halberd. So the way I do my halberd setup with this is normally like this. I put the golden in the left, and then the knight cavalry in the right, and I'd put Sacred Blade on the Knight Cavalry. And then I would have... Jeez. Boom. So then I buff all my holy damage. This build definitely relies on holy damage, which is great. And... yeah, right there I was just fat rolling, right? So I was using the Winged Sword insignia for the Nagi for the rolling attacks and the combos, and it's pretty good. But I do have the Great Jar's arsenal here, which didn't work. So I guess I have to take... yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, boom. I was using the Scaled Gauntlets, that makes sense. So now you have dual halberds, rune level 65. It's insane. I love these. I love these so much. They're so fun. I'm definitely gonna get some invading later, but I just want to put this build to get this video together of all my builds to make sure that you guys have a one-stop shop to look at all of my builds and see if you wanted to tweak anything or if anything gives you an idea. I think I have one more build, and that's my Blue Knight. This is the Blue Knight, rune level 99, plus 24. Of course, Claw Talisman. I already shared my thoughts on that. High health, very high vigor, actually, because rune level 99, there's still a lot of damage. And this build puts out a lot of damage. Ice Spear. This is likely the most I peak out Ice Spear. Ice Spear is like a huge deal in this build because it can keep it close range, long range. I have an okay amount of magic, but it doesn't do a lot of damage. Because as you can see, my strength, dex, and intelligence stats are all similar. I have a lot of endurance because I think dual wielding halberds kind of requires a lot of stamina. Because you're running around a lot, doing pretty heavy combos. I only have a glintstone staff because, yeah, my intelligence is pretty garbo. I'm pretty sure there's like one more staff I can pick up. This is also the build that I could pull out whips on if I want to. Where is it? Yeah, the Cold Godskin Peeler. This is also like my twin blade build. I make sure to bring this out when I can. It shreds. It's fun to use. Also, the Ice Spear low-key kind of combos pretty nice with this. Also, aesthetically it works because it's a twin blade, right? The way he like twirls it around looks pretty cool. This build is one of my more favorite builds to I don't know if that, whatever. We're not here for grammar. We're here for Elden Ring. I'm stuck. Yeah, I love invading with this build. I find rune level 99 to actually be a great area for invasions. I always get legit invasions here because it's like right before endgame, or like they're kind of arriving at endgame, so they kind of want to finish the game. Most ganks you'll either see at super low levels or super high levels where they have like nothing to do. Super low levels because it's like, oh, they already beat the game. This is a new character. They're just ganking here. You know. High levels, obviously, they beat the game already. They're just ganking. But still, I find rune level 99, maybe like, if you want something not at plus 24, like plus 22, I think you can do rune level 90. Maybe rune level 85, around there, that's pretty good. I think other creators have an idea with that. Here's the fashion, because the fashion's like insane. I love this build. Erdtree's favor is likely on everything. So, definitely pick that up. Okay, here's one more thing I can add. One more thing. I'm trying to make sure I say everything. I always use the weakest version of the Warrior Jar Shard because it's easier to get. I always forget about Alexander when I go to the Fire Giant. I always forget about him. Because whenever I arrive at the snow place, I just run right through it, go right to the Fire Giant and fight him, and then no more snow place. So I made a habit out of getting to Alexander early and then beating him up for his Jar Shard in this video game. Yeah, this build is really fun. I love... Oh, man. Godskin Peeler is so good. And I know if you count my builds, like, we're around, like, 8 or something. I have a couple slots that I have builds on that aren't really finished. Well, I have a Paladin build at rune level 125. It's literally the same build. It just has less faith. And then I have a Dex build at rune level 56 right now that I'm trying to beat Malenia at like rune level 80 or 90 and then bring out the Malenia's sword with invasions at that level, but I don't know if I'm gonna get to that, but one day I'll get to it. We'll see. But yeah, so those are my builds. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is definitely something I wanted to add because I know a few of you were asking about like stats and stuff, and I want to add a video for my stats. It's just one video for stats, so I don't like disappoint you guys by forgetting to put my stats in my videos. I want to make sure I have some room for mistakes here, some percentage error. So anyway, if you guys are interested in the stats, you can just click this video. Boom, everything's good. Oh, and I think you noticed that I don't have a Pyromancer or anything like. I think there's a couple builds that I'm missing. Some things I am putting on hold for a bit for the DLC. So I still have stuff to try out. Also, another thing is I'm not even at 1K hours yet. So if you're here for Elden Ring PvP content, you are at the right spot, man. Thanks for watching. Sub if you didn't, and if you enjoy Elden Ring PvP, have a good day.
Hey!